Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome. AI is everywhere. And for some of us, we think that this is something new, but AI has been around for a very long time. My question for you is, has AI made us better communicators or worse listeners? We're going to explore this today. What if the greatest threat of artificial intelligence isn't that machines are becoming smarter, but it's that we as people are becoming less present? I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I am the founder and creator of USA Global TV and Radio, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this special episode. Artificial intelligence is now writing emails, creating presentations, summarizing meetings, attending meetings, answering questions, and even helping us make life-changing decisions. But today, I want to ask a different question. That question is, has AI made us better communicators, or are we just becoming worse listeners? Because communication isn't just about speaking. It isn't just about writing, and it isn't just about generating information. Communication is about understanding, and understanding begins with listening. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to be exploring what AI can do, what it can't do, and why your ability to truly listen becomes your greatest competitive edge in business, leadership, relationships, and life. I know for myself, I use AI pretty extensively. I live alone. I talk to it quite frequently. I ask it questions. I run things by it. And I'm quite aware of the fact that the information I'm sharing is not confidential. It can be brought up in a court proceeding, for example. I just watched a video about that. It can be accessed, I imagine, by authorities if they need the information. But pretty much for most of us, we're giving information, we're doing all the right things. And so we're relatively safe with sharing the information. But by being able to share information and then get some kind of feedback or interaction, are we actually becoming less present in our own lives? So depending on what your situation is, if you have a spouse or significant other or family members and you're used to running things by people and now you're running it by artificial intelligence, are you actually isolating the people who are around you? That's not a judgment, it's just a question. And it's something to consider because while we are using AI in so many capacities, and it is an incredible tool in so many ways, in my opinion, as a business owner, it actually eliminates the need for so many positions that I would normally outsource or hire for because AI can get things done very quickly. So we've never actually experienced change this quickly. We've had a lot of different change. If you think about television or technology, or the fact that I'm doing a TV show right now from my computer in my studio that's going around the world on multiple platforms. But yet, every week, there seems to be a new AI tool. And so people are asking AI to do things that normally we would have humans do. So for example, if you're someone who has to write proposals, you can have AI do that. People are asking AI to write books for them. Students are asking AI to complete assignments for them, and business owners are asking AI to create marketing campaign. Doctors are using AI, lawyers are using AI, broadcasters are using AI. Do you think I look this good? It's with the help of AI. I use AI myself, as I mentioned, so it's not a judgment about whether or not AI is good or bad. The question is whether we're becoming intentional on how we use it. Technology has really accelerated the ability for us to communicate. And of course, during the pandemic, which I don't have to remind anyone, most of us were able to connect with people we had never met before. One of the things that I thought was so amazing was the Clubhouse app, which I'm not sure if it still exists, but you could go into Clubhouse, which was an audio only app, and you could be sitting in rooms with some of the most famous people in the world, and you would have access to them. So this enabled collaborations and partnerships that probably never would have existed before. So when it comes to acceleration, technology is at the forefront. But has it accelerated our ability to understand? I don't believe that these are the same things. So let's talk about the difference. Hearing is not listening. This has been my life's work. People often believe that listening is simply remaining quiet, but it isn't. Listening is one of the most active skills we possess. You can hear every word someone says and completely misinterpret or even miss what it is they're trying to tell you. How many meetings have you attended where everyone spoke, yet nothing was really understood? Nothing was accomplished. No one left that meeting with a sense of, okay, I understand what is needed of me, what my role is. How many relationships have suffered because each person wanted to be heard before they were willing to listen? Listening requires curiosity. It requires presence, and it requires humility. And none of these qualities can be automated. One thing that really stands out for me with AI is when I ask AI, I give it a prompt, it immediately starts giving an answer. It didn't do any thinking, it didn't do any processing, and many times the information that it comes up with is not even what I asked. And so I'll have a little exchange with it. That's not what I asked. I know you can't actually listen, but you must be able to process by reading the information, and you're not giving me what I asked. And it's so obvious because it's not a human being. But yet what's not obvious is when we as human beings who have the ability to listen think we're doing a phenomenal job of doing so, and we're actually not. And there's so many reasons for this, which I will go into shortly. So what is it that AI cannot replace? Well, we know AI is extraordinary. We know there are things that it cannot do. It cannot genuinely care about us. It cannot build authentic trust. And it can't sit beside us when we are going through grief or other meaningful human presence. And I'll give you an example. So for the last 9 evenings, well, except for last night, let's say 8 evenings, I had violent back spasms. My back would just lock up, and it came out of nowhere. I couldn't even breathe, and I had to process whether or not I thought I could actually get to my car so I could drive to the hospital. And so when the spasms slowed down a little bit, I got my phone and I reached out to AI to share what was happening. And so AI is processing and giving me all this information, but it couldn't hold my hand. It couldn't tell me it's okay. Basically, it brought up a lot of things that were alarming about what could happen. And it couldn't give me what it is that I really needed. I really needed somebody to hold my hand and say, you know what? It's okay. I'm here for you, whatever it is that happens. But yes, it can give us a plethora of information, but that's not what we always need. And it's the same thing when we're having an exchange with someone. we have so much information we want to share with someone, and that person, instead of listening, wants to fix us. They want to tell us what needs to be done. They want to judge us. So while AI cannot replace compassion, and it can't replace wisdom, and it certainly can't replace human connection, these are human qualities. But as humans, we're not actually taking the time to process how someone is feeling or what it is they actually need from us. And these are qualities that we value every day. And every day that goes by, that compassion and that human emotion and that understanding is something that becomes more and more valuable. So, my question for you is, are we outsourcing our thinking? I mentioned to you that I'm going to use confer with AI on a regular basis. And I think this is pretty common for someone who lives alone, works alone. I have a huge team around the world, but I am basically alone. So instead of picking up the phone and calling someone, I will ask AI various questions. And what I found that's so interesting is that AI can express itself in ways that are judgmental. So from humans, this is pretty common. If I say something to you, I like something this way, you might like something that way. And so there's a natural divide, 50-50 around the world, depending on how you feel about various things. But yet AI can still take a position of, I don't agree with what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend what you're doing. Even if we don't ask it, it gives its own judgment and opinion. And so from a human perspective, we have to be better than that. We have to be able to keep our opinions to ourselves so that we can foster a safe environment for people to share. So we don't expect that from artificial intelligence because it's not a human. So are we using AI as a tool? Are we allowing it to become a substitute for thinking? When was the last time you sat quietly with your own thoughts before you either asked AI for the answer or you asked a human for the answer? We're so busy looking for answers outside of ourselves that we actually are empowering AI and also other people to provide external validation instead of taking the time to think and process what could be happening. So I'm going to go back to my situation with the back spasms. And this, again, is something I have never experienced before. I work out at least 6 times a week. I do no stretching, zero. I did yoga for more than 20 years. I don't do any yoga. I don't do any rolling. I don't do anything except work out. And so when these violent spasms were happening, I had to calm myself down, focus on my breathing. And when they started to release a little, I started thinking to myself, well, what could this be from? Well, obviously, if I'm working out and working out at a very high level and I'm not stretching, and I'm not doing anything to help my body recover, my body could be sending me a message. And the message is, this isn't working. We need to find a way to have our muscles relax. But yet when I went to AI and asked AI, it came up with all these things. You could potentially be having a heart attack. I would get to the hospital right away, call 911, all this information. And so what's interesting is that as humans, we also do something similar, which is we no longer are listening and instead we are talking. So if I had called a human being on the phone, which I couldn't, it was the middle of the night, that person might have said, I would get to the hospital immediately. So I would still have to process the information. And what I'm asking you is, how much trust and faith do you have in yourself and in your own judgment? Or are you constantly, regularly outsourcing your decisions to artificial intelligence or to other people? This is a very important question, because what ends up happening ultimately is we do not trust ourselves. So if we can't trust ourselves and we're constantly looking outside for validation, then the next decision that comes along, we will be second guessing ourselves. And I'm asking you to put some faith into your own intuition and into your own judgment about your life and reserve it to give to other people. So unless someone asks you your opinion, why do you have to provide it? Typically, it's from an ego place. It's from a place of feeling inferior, or it's a place of you might really think that you know what's best for someone, but we don't know what's best for someone. We barely know what's best for ourselves, let alone for someone else. So outsourcing your life decisions to AI or to another person might not work out the way that you'd like it to be, because basically you have less faith in yourself. So think about, when was the last time that you wrestled with a difficult problem instead of searching for the quickest solution? What I have found is that we as a society want quick answers. We want closure. We want to know that whatever it is that we're dealing with, we can just get out a mop and a broom and clean it up and get rid of it. But what if the journey is in walking through whatever it is that's coming your way? However, we then go to AI and give AI all the information. I've done it myself many times. Here's what I'm dealing with. What do you think I should do? So if we, again, are not listening to ourselves, our own listening skills, our own trust and faith in ourselves is now going down the drain. It's becoming less and less. And I like to think of it as a shrinking person. You know, you're a certain height because you are proud, you are confident, you are successful, you believe in yourself, and then you start giving away little bits of pieces of yourself. And so whatever your height is, you're eventually becoming smaller, where you're not even standing up straight. You know, when you see a confident person, they're standing up straight, chest out, shoulders back, or you see someone who's a little hunched over, they don't have back problems, but they don't have the confidence. They've been beaten down by life. Well, I'm suggesting that we take a step back, literally, and we believe in ourselves, in that intuition that we have, that gut feeling that tells us if we're on the right path or we're not. And if and when we make mistakes, which we all do, we look at it as an opportunity to learn. So if you're making your life decisions, everyday decisions through AI, I'd like you to rethink it. Why is it that you are trusting this entity that we know is not confidential? We don't know where the information goes. In fact, I was watching this video, and I'd like to give this attorney credit. I can't think of her name, but I was watching this video that she did. And basically, even when you delete your chat threads with AI, they're never actually deleted. It's almost like text messages, emails, somehow they can be found. So why are we giving these major life decisions or day-to-day decisions to something or someone else? Let's start to listen to ourselves. Let's start to bring things within. When something doesn't go your way, let's start to process it. And I like to look at it like this. What is the solution? So when I told you about these violent back spasms, what I decided to do, again, because I wasn't going to call someone, and if I called someone, who would I call? I probably would have called 911. And then I was processing how they would get into the building and how they get to my floor, and they'd have to break the door down. And so I thought it's a no-go. So I started saying to myself, well, clearly I can't sleep in bed, because as soon as I sleep, it starts. So I decided to lower myself into a chair. And I actually got a decent night's sleep or two in the chair. And then what I did was I started asking experts, people who have experience with back spasms or muscle spasms, training people, people who actually know something. They might have experienced it themselves. Hey, this is what I've been going through. What would you do? That's very different than calling your mother, your brother, unless they are trained in this area, or asking AI, what do you think I should do? Doesn't know. It's going to give you a myriad of information, just like if you Google something. But should you make your decision based on that? I suggest no. I suggest you ask experts and then you evaluate. You go with the gut feeling. Does this make sense to me? Does this resonate? Is this something I am willing to do? So in my case, thank goodness, it has turned out very well. I got some very good coaching from experienced people, and I feel like I am on the right path. And I know now I've got to take a recovery day, which it's very difficult for me because I'm an A-type personality, go, go, go. So the thought of taking a day and stretching and rolling, going to the sauna and getting a massage, these are all things that they're nice, but I don't really feel like doing it. However, I'm changing my thought process. I've decided that. I've decided that I cannot keep pushing my body without giving it any recovery. So think about your relationships. Think about how you push them or they push you. Maybe you're in a situation right now where you've got a lot of stress in your life and you have a partner, a significant other, family members, and between all of you, you are highly stressed. So think about what could you do so that you could minimize your own stress. And some of that might be just a suggestion. Instead of running everything by your partner, I'm not suggesting you keep secrets. I'm suggesting that you start to think of things and process things yourself first. And then maybe you say, hey, by the way, this is what's been going on, and this is what I've decided to do. That's a very different conversation than what do you think I should do? Because the more people we ask, and I've seen this, you get all different answers. And then you're kind of like, well, 7 people said to do this and 5 people said to do that. And you don't really know what to do. And now you've involved all of these people into your life about making a choice. Guess what happens? Then you make the choice and the people who weren't supporting you are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. Now they have judgment. Or the people who were supporting you but don't think you should have done it the way that you're doing it, now they're unhappy. So you've created additional aggravation for yourself as opposed to thinking it through. Does it make sense to use artificial intelligence to do research? Yes. But what I like to say is I like to have peer-reviewed information. So when I got my doctorate and I had to write my thesis, it was all based on peer-reviewed information. So there are actually people who have done studies. Now, will AI cite studies? Sometimes, but sometimes I find it just comes back with information. It's like, well, where did you get this from? Thinking, and then it comes back. Why didn't you reference them in the first place? You could go back and forth. It's just wasting time. So do the research yourself, especially if you have a medical condition. Don't just rely on calling your friend, phone a friend, or go to AI. Find the research from medical professionals, researchers, studies that have been conducted, and then seek help. Obviously, if it's an emergency, you want to get yourself to the hospital. Even in business, there are people who are experts, people who've experienced what you have experienced. So why are you going to ask your best friend who's not even in business what it is you should do? If you're going to write a book, why are you going to put it out to social media for people to decide what cover you should use in your book? How do they know? Everyone has their own preference. In fact, earlier today, we had an excellent show, Ahead for Business, and we were talking with Kevin Perlmutter and Al Cini about branding. And I've seen people have logos created for their business, and they put it out on social media Which one do you think I should use for my business? Pick A, B, or C. So are you really going to put the potential success of your branding out to the general public who has no idea what your business strategy is? Are you going to give it to AI to determine what your business strategy is? Or are you actually going to put some thought into it? And that's where I'm going with this. It isn't easy to make major decisions. It's easy to make everyday decisions. Should I have a cup of tea? Should I not have a cup of tea? Should I go to the gym? Should I not? These are decisions we have to make all the time. But when it comes to decisions that are really important, that really circle back to listening, are you listening to yourself? Or your listening skills worse than they were before because now you have more tools? And what you really need now is tool management, because you're going to find at some point there's so much information available, and yet you're wasting your time because you're unable to make a thoughtful, well-researched decision that you are in alignment with. So when you're in alignment with whatever choice it is, then you realize, I decided I'm going to do this. This is the direction I have decided to go in. Many people might not support you. Maybe everyone will. Maybe no one will. But the bottom line is it won't matter because you made the decision. One of the things that I think is really important when it comes to branding, USA Global TV and Radio, we started 5 years ago, and we actually started as Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. Completely different. I was on the radio, and I had a TV show that I was hosting in person at a television network, and it was just me. And my dad was really important to me, and we used to pull our chairs around him. His name was Jack, and we would talk to him about boys and about life, and it was like rapping with Jack. So that's how the whole idea of Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn came about. But then when people started coming to me and saying, I want to have my own TV show, it was so much bigger than me. And now we have 28 different TV show hosts. We have 60 shows. We're in 60 countries, and it's not about me. So the branding had to evolve, and I had to take a step back because it's not just about Dr. Jacalyn. It's about all the people who grace this stage, who have television shows, who are guests. And so I had to listen to my intuition, which was we need a separation between Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck and whatever this television network is going to be. And so now I am a host on this television network, and I'm the executive producer, but I'm not the whole network. We have, as I mentioned, 28 hosts, and we've got marketing people and search engine optimization and distribution. It's much bigger. So I followed my own intuition as opposed to what other people were telling me to do. Keep your name in there. Well, USA Global TV and Radio does not have my name in it because it is much bigger than I am. And if you see the logo right there, you'll see elevated listening, which is something that we practice here and something that I teach. And part of the reason why I wanted to do this show. We have this tool of AI that we can use in so many ways. And by the way, it's been around for a long time. My father passed away in 2012, and he was always talking into the phone, asking it to look things up. So it's been around for a long time. But how we use it and what we expect from it are different, because now everything is instantaneous. I need this, I need that. I remember when I was in corporate and we were going on presentations to some of the biggest companies in the world, and we had one group of people who would work on the presentation deck, and we might have 65 slides, but that was Bob and Sue's job to give us the slides. And now you can use AI to come up with a deck literally in minutes. Of course, you're going to have to review it, and it makes all kinds of mistakes and go over it again and again. But the question is, does that deck represent what it is that you want to get across? It's now tied to you. So how confident are you in what this artificial intelligence tool produced for you? Are you even reviewing it? If you're having it send emails, is it your voice? Are you proud of whatever the message is that you're conveying in that email? Or are you just looking to get it done? Because who we are and what we represent is out in the world in so many ways. If you think about email and social media and being a public figure, it's very difficult to get away from it. So I'd like you to focus on these 4 things as we close the show today. I'd like you to evaluate yourself, your own skill set right now, and be honest. How well do you listen? First, to yourself. How well do you listen to that voice within? Or are you constantly looking for someone else to validate what you're thinking and feeling? And the second is, how well do you listen to other people? Here are the 4 things that I have found through my research that are areas where we drop the ball. We say we're listening, but we're actually interrupting. Oh, I'm so, have you ever gone to a presentation and the speaker will say, we'll take all the questions at the end. And you've got people raising their hand, calling things out. The same thing in class. Please hold your questions till the end. Well, it's the same thing when you're having a conversation with someone. If you're repeatedly jumping in, the person doesn't feel heard. So listening without interruption is key. The second one is problem solving. You're having a conversation with someone and they start to share something with you. You know, today I was experiencing back spasms. Oh, I know what you need. I didn't even get to finish the conversation, but now you know what I need. What's the first thing that comes up for me? You have no interest in what I'm sharing because you immediately want to turn the conversation over to you because you are now all knowing when it comes to back spasms. So unless you are specifically asked to solve a problem, don't provide your feedback. When the person's finished sharing, you may say, would you like my opinion or did you just want me to listen? Oh, just wanted me to listen. Okay. And then sometimes people will say, well, I'm going to tell you what I think anyway. I've had this happen to me. And so I have no judgment about it, but I know that the person needs to work on their listening skills. The third one is listening without stage hogging. This is where you are telling your story. I've been experiencing back spasms. Oh, you know what? I've had back spasms. In fact, when I was 20 years old, I had back. Why are you bringing up about your back spasms? If I'm talking to you about what's going on with me, why are you switching the conversation over to you? Because what happens is I now know you have no interest in what it is I'm talking about. You want to turn the stage over to you. And then what ends up happening? You go in your diatribe about whatever happened to you, and then we never get back to me because now at this point, I'm completely disgusted and I don't even want to talk to you about it because I know you're not listening. And the fourth one is the toughest one of all. This is the one when I'm doing master classes or keynotes, I actually bring people up from the audience so we can do role plays. The fourth one is judgment. You don't say or think that you have any judgment about what the person is saying. But inside, even though you're looking at the person, you are judging them. In fact, you might be judging me right now. You might be judging the way I look or the way I sound or something that I've shared. And what that says to me is that you have issues. You have issues inside of you that are coming up. So whatever I'm saying, or whatever it is I look like, it's bringing something up for you. So if I were to tell you that my favorite color is blue and you absolutely hate blue, in your mind, you're thinking, yeah, I hate that blue. I hate that blue on her. I don't know why she's wearing that blue. And it just starts going on. And that's something simple. But when you think about politics, world affairs, major life issues, usually people stand on one side or the other, and they are more than happy to completely rip you apart because you think a certain way. But yet they think that they get to think the way they do without anyone saying anything to them. And then you have people butting heads. And so when this headbutting starts and it continues, it just builds. And we see it every day on social media. We see it every day in the mainstream news. We see it every day in politics, where people are so angry because the other side doesn't believe the same thing that they do. But yet, why is their side right? So instead of people listening and working towards a compromise, they just get into a very judgmental place. So listening at an elevated level means listening without interruption, without problem solving, without stage hogging, and without judgment. And these are skills that we have to work on. They're skills that not everyone has. If you think about a child, and children have this childlike curiosity where they want to know about everything, at some point as adults, we no longer are interested and curious. We're just, well, that's the way that it is. That's the way that I was brought up. That's what I believe in. And that's the way that it is. And therefore, you have people at a standstill, at a stalemate, instead of saying, you know what? I want to understand how you think. I'm interested to learn. Maybe I'll change my position. Maybe I won't, but maybe I'll learn something. And the key is the learning part. So what I'd like to impart upon you today is tomorrow morning, when you begin your day, will you spend more time asking artificial intelligence for questions or asking another human being meaningful questions? Or will you spend some time sitting with whatever it is you're working on and processing it yourself? Giving yourself that courage and that support to say, I am enough. I know enough. What I don't know, I will do some research on, and I will take that as information. And all the information that I collect, I will evaluate. I'll evaluate it and I will look for the solution. What is the best solution for me for this decision? And that is what I do. And people will say to me, I don't understand. Do you not ever get upset? Do you not have emotions? I have emotions. I will allow myself to be upset for 10 minutes. I will actually time it. 10 minutes. Boo-hoo, woe is me. I'm scared. What am I going to do? And then I'll say to myself, that's enough. What are you going to do? What is the solution? And then I come up with the solution after evaluating all the options, and I decide how I'm going to move forward. And there's no one to blame because I am making the decision myself. So can we consult with AI? Of course. Can you ask people who have walked the journey that you are walking or who are where you want to go? Absolutely. But randomly calling all of your friends and family members, putting things on social media, that's not going to get you the result that you can live with. Because to me, the most important thing in life is having peace. It is peace of mind. It is living in a calm state where I know I am empowered to make decisions. And whichever way those decisions go, there will be a learning because it is a journey. People want to race to get to the end. I've got to get this. I've got to get that. What about the process you go through in order to get it? Because if you don't enjoy yourself along the way, that accomplishment will have very little meaning. And you will be right on to the next one. And you'll sit back and say, you know what? I spent all my life ringing the bell. I spent all my life getting the gold stars. But was I truly happy? How happy are you right now? How happy are you with your life? Are you looking for someone to come along with a magic wand and make it all better? Because they're not coming. It's just a bunch of noise and distractions. The only one who can make you happy is you. And you don't have to wait. I know people will say, well, I'll be happy when the kids leave home, or I'll be happy. No, you won't be happy. Then it'll be something else. You've got to be happy right now at this moment. Look around, find something for which you are grateful. Because I promise you, there's somebody else who doesn't have what you have and would love to trade places with you. I remember an expression my mother used to say, if everybody threw all their problems in a pile, you'd want to walk away with your own. So walk away from this episode saying to yourself, I am enough. I believe in me. I choose peace, and I am grateful. When you are practicing gratitude and you are happy with where you are instead of waiting for the next fabulous thing or until someone does something, you will always be disappointed because it will never be enough. So has AI made us better communicators or worse listeners? I think we have a choice because it's ongoing. Every day we get to choose. So I'm asking you to choose to be your own best listener. I'm asking for you to be a good listener for other people without judging them, without expecting anything from them. They're going through their own set of circumstances. And so no one is right and no one is wrong. But not being at peace and not having happiness is not a quality way of living your life. So I wish you peace. Go in peace. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't done so yet, if you'd please subscribe to our 2 YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, I would really appreciate it. And I know that our team would as well. And I'm going to close out with a promotion from one of our team members, Mr. Red O'Loughlin, who's written a really amazing book. It's called Aging Sucks and the Guesswork, There is Hope. I highly recommend this book. I've known Red for 5 years now. He is a high quality stand-up person who knows a lot about longevity. And this is not a longevity book, but it does talk about the hallmarks of aging. And so take a look at this. You can order it on Amazon.
What if many of the problems we associate with aging are not random? What if there are identifiable causes behind declining energy, chronic disease, and memory problems? We have been told that aging is simply something we must accept, that slowing down is normal, that growing older means growing weaker. But what if that's only part of the story? Why do some people remain active and engaged well into their later years? Why do others struggle with disease, fatigue, and declining health? What is happening beneath the surface? What processes drive aging? In Aging Sucks, researcher, educator, and author Red O'Loughlin explores what researchers have discovered about why we grow older. No medical degree required, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations of what researchers have discovered about the processes that influence aging. You cannot stop aging, but understanding its causes may help you make better decisions about your health, your future, and your quality of life. Because understanding comes before action. Action creates hope. Aging sucks. End the guesswork. There is hope.
Every great story begins with a vision. At USA Global TV and Radio for years, we've been providing world-class education, entertainment, inspiration, imagination, connections, and hope. Most people don't stay to watch the outro or the credits, but it's the people behind every success, behind every breakthrough, and behind every unforgettable story who matter. The TV show hosts, our guests, our sponsors, our publicists, our production team, our distribution team, our search engine optimization team, and so many more. You're the ones who make the difference. Every great story belongs to the people who bring it to life. Our future looks bright at USA Global TV and Radio. And that's because of you, our loyal fan base, all around the world, in more than 60 countries. Together, we're making a difference because you matter. USA Global TV and Radio, live streaming to over 60 countries. Voiceover, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Video production and direction, Paul Garcia. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV and Radio on YouTube. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USAGlobalTV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.